Hey, and welcome back to the Drip System, your place for NHI, UAP, spirituality, and all things mysterious. And today we're going to look at a very controversial thing in the UFO community. Some don't even want to call it part of the UFO community, but it kind of is. We are talking about Pleiadian or Galactic Federation disclosure, or in specifically the Family of Teygeta, so Kabamur and Judith. So if you don't know what that means at all, what I just said, don't worry, we're going to go through it all. I'm not here to say it's definitely false, the claims that are being made by those persons, and I'm not here to say it's correct. But we're going to look at it with an open mind. A skeptical mind, yes, but open mind. So if you are not into the so-called woo at all, this is probably not the video for you, because it's going to go deep into things that, are far away from nuts and bolts, most likely. And if that is not for you, then this video won't be for you either. But if you are open to, well, at least having a thought experiment about these things, then stay tuned in. Like the video, subscribe, and let's get started. Okay, so this is the Family of Teygeta homepage, familyoftygeta.com. I thought it would be good to first explain what it's all about, what they are all about. In the About section, they say this information on this website is possible through direct telepathic contact with Pleiadian guides. So not channeled material like some do, like automatic writing or something like that, or someone taking over the body of another person, but actually hearing thoughts in your mind and I guess writing them down. Pleiadian guides, in this case, beings from the Pleiades, guides, meaning spirit guides, with the theory that every spirit, every soul here on Earth is reincarnated either from Earth itself or from another planet, probably. So it's possible that you have a guide from the Pleiades or other systems in the universe, other densities that are, known to you from another reality, basically, and they might even be your family if you believe in that, and they're guiding you through this life here on Earth so that you make the right choices and stuff like that, or at least they're nudging you, helping you if you need help. If you discover your spirituality, you're more likely to make contact, I suppose, and it's all written, allegedly, supposedly, in a soul plan, but we're going to get to that eventually, I'm sure. With your Pleiadian guides, with trust built over many years of communicating and careful discernment. So making sure that you're not being tricked, apparently, allegedly. Contact of this nature was planned on the soul level by Pleiadians of the Galactic Federation as a plan to serve Earth. We are receiving and sharing this information because of soul plans and soul connections. Here's the soul plans again. Our Pleiadian family leads the Ascension mission on Earth, and will be the first extraterrestrials that humans will officially meet following the shift. The shift is a very important concept as well that we're going to get into. It is when humanity ascends into a higher density due to help by extraterrestrials, consciousness and vibration, all of that kind of stuff being raised. And then basically we're waking up in the twinkle of an eye in a new world. Basically in the split of a second, we're gonna just be in this different dimension. Okay, Judith. Judith is the human incarnation of Aya, made of Elder Ikai. Elder Ikai being one of the leaders, if not the leader of the Galactic Federation, if I remember correctly. And she is the primary Pleiadian contactee in the last days before the shift. Judith and her son Cab, who is Aya's son on Teygeta, so the planet in the, I think, Pleiadian star system, I'm not sure, have incarnated together in this lifetime to share with the world about Pleiadians and the coming shift. Judith has spiritual abilities including remote viewing, astral travel, multi-dimensional sight, visions of past and future, and has regular interactions with fairies and telepathic contact with Pleiadian soul family. So when I first read about these kind of things and people were talking about fairies and dragons and stuff like that. This is something that turns many people off very quickly because it's such a far out concept. But people like Judith and Cap or Michael, I guess, are claiming that these are real beings from other densities. And that is also why folklore and fairy tales are so full of these creatures, because people have actually seen them in the past. Again, could be, could not be. Let's dive in, I would say. Michael or Cap, or Kabamur, as he's widely known, is the human incarnation of Kabamur, son of Aya, so her, or this is the incarnation of Aya, and Elder Ikai, them being father and mother, and him being the son here. And brother of Laka, Neo, and Akatu, also soul family members, and I think they're getting telepathic messages from them every now and then, but we're going to get to that as well. He incarnated with Judith, Aya, to share Pleiadian spiritual teachings and disclosure to help prepare for the shift. Michael is one of many Starseeds, Starseeds being, if I remember correctly, members of different species that are incarnated here on Earth, in this case, or on other planets as well. I guess everyone can be a starseed. If we incarnated on another planet, I guess we could be called starseeds as well. One of many starseeds who will serve as ambassadors with Pleiadian and Galactic Federations when they are introduced to humanity. Okay. So these are the main players here, or members, the ones that are being publicly known about. I checked these images, by the way, for AI. They're real photos as far as I know. Of course, even the best AI checkers could be, could be tricked, but we're not gonna go in with that attitude. So I just wanted to make sure that at least it's not obvious AI. It's not. Seems to be real photos of real people. These are the only two pictures you have seen of these people so far. No videos, no nothing. Most of what they share is illustrated with AI images. And so it would be interesting to see actual videos. Kabamur or Michael has said as we get closer to the shift, which is supposedly, allegedly not that far away, he's going to become more public, more open. So maybe we're going to see him on some podcasts. Michael, if you want to hop on my podcast, you're invited. I think I invited you once before, just because I'm interested, not because I want to debunk anything. Obviously, that would be easy to do as well if someone came on a podcast and obviously wasn't telling the truth. That is why it's also important that people like Judith and Michael would go on a podcast, not mine necessarily, obviously, but any podcast or multiple ones, so that people can see that they're honest and truthful. Because, again, this is very hard to swallow for most people who are just nuts and bolts, and statements like use your discernment are not helping. Because that is something, unfortunately, that Michael at least publicly states quite often. You're not ready if you don't believe this, or use your discernment. I'm not forcing you to believe anything, which also makes sense if you shared information that was true to you 100%. But many other people would come at you for all the time, then I guess at some point I would also say, I'm not here to make you believe anything. Use your discernment. Can't be bothered with you anymore. And he's also been criticized for blocking people and hiding comments and deleting comments and stuff like that. He's a human being. At first, I was very annoyed by that fact as well, that he did that, because I got also blocked, then unblocked later after I confronted him about claiming to be of a higher vibrational frequency, basically, and then spreading love and kindness, but then blocking people left and right. And I guess that got through to him. Like I said, all the things that I talked to him about, I tried to stay critical, were not meant to put him down or anything like that. I'm just, I can't help to be skeptic, because I, of course, didn't have telepathic contact with beings, and I don't for 100% know that this is all true, that these people are being honest and truthful. So, of course, and that is the case for many people out there, will question what they have to say. So this is not meant in any mean way or anything like that. it's just common sense, I would say, to ask yourself if this is true or not. Michael is one of the many starseeds who will serve as an ambassador. This is also something he got criticized for quite a lot, that they both portray themselves as, well, the son and the wife of the mighty leader, or the wisest of Pleiadians, Elder Ikai, leader of the Galactic Federation. Sounds very pompous. And of course, many cult leaders often portray themselves as such as well, as the highest or being of the highest order, or very important, at least royalty and all of that kind of stuff. So I understand why some people don't like that, but just imagine for a minute, because we are here not to debunk, but we're here to have an open mind, and that is true information, and it would make sense that the leader of an organization like the Galactic Federation would maybe volunteer or send his trusted family members down to Earth to help the world with ascending. It would make sense in a way, even if it sounds like, pompous to some people. Okay, so this is Kabamur's X account, Kabamur_Teygeta, sharing messages telepathically received by my mother Judith from Pleiadian soul family of 7D, so 7th density or dimension, Teygeta, to prepare Earth for the shift. The densities are very important as well, because like I said, similar to with non-visible light, we cannot perceive these higher densities, and there's the 4th density, also known as astral, I believe, and then the 5th, 6th, up to, I think, 12th, or maybe even higher. I'm not quite familiar with that. But that is why he sometimes will say things like 7D, 8D, or something like that, 12D. And 12D is, I think, allegedly, supposedly, where Elohim come from, the highest spiritual beings that are close to God, or the source, or whatever you want to call it, the eternal. An account on X with 165,000 subscribers, or followers, I should say, is impressive for someone who spreads information like this. Because in comparison, for example, with other key members of the UAP, NHI, or UFO community, this is quite high. I think George Knapp has over 200,000. Jeremy Corbell has like 160 or 80,000 or something like that, while Stephen Greer has over 200,000. So these are not bad numbers, and it just reflects that many people resonate with what he has to say, or at least are interested. I am also, for some reason or another, I cannot explain it, very drawn to this kind of disclosure, this soul family and Pleiadian disclosure. Maybe it's just very interesting sounding to me, I'm not sure. But it just also a lot of the times makes sense to me, what I'm hearing here, but I'm still skeptical because, of course, I can't know for sure necessarily. But so far, all the messages that have been communicated by him and his mother have been very positive. Most of the time it's just about harmony and love and all of that kind of stuff, and interesting information about different races of extraterrestrials out there. Sometimes the information, like I said, with the fairies and stuff like that is a little bit out there for people who are just nuts and bolts fans, basically. But I think we have to look further than just nuts and bolts. It's clearly a spiritual phenomenon as well. I mean, to me at least it's clear, maybe not to you, but also everything we've seen in the past in the NHI UFO community, I think hints towards that. But again, I'm just speculating as well from the information that I'm getting from all different kinds of sources, him being one of them. But again, a very large following reflects that people are interested, and even some people that I'm following follow him, like, for example, Pro Pixel Video Analysis and Research, which also has, in my eyes, solidified a key factor that speaks for him being truthful and honest. But we'll come to that in a second. In recent days, Kabamur has posted a video of an alleged craft. He posts a lot of different things, but this specifically was interesting since he claimed that he was taking a walk, I think, in Sedona or something like that, and then he saw a Pleiadian craft very close to him, actually, very good video, and that same video was also analyzed by that guy that I just showed you, and he, if I remember correctly, said that it doesn't look doctored with, it doesn't look like AI, and that is very interesting to me, because from all the different craft that they're sharing, the Pleiadian craft always looks similar, if I remember correctly, like these white-ish craft, and then with lots of different rainbow colors on them. Let me find the video actually real quick. Here it is. Yeah, in Sedona, this is the craft that he filmed. A very good video actually, and these kind of craft you don't see often at all. You often see your classic tic-tac shaped ones, or cigar shaped, or whatever, disc shaped, but one where these colorful lights are blinking at all sides, you don't really see that often, at least I haven't. And it's just very interesting to me that he would put out a video that I haven't seen anywhere else on the internet, and then someone else actually corroborating his claims, or looking at this video and saying it's, well, as far as he knows, not doctored with. Let me find his analysis actually real quick as well. Okay, here we have his analysis. I'm just using, he's even looking at Cap's account here, and, making sure that he gives credit, I guess. And then he analyzes it. And we're going to skip through it. He's going to use all different kinds of techniques. You can watch his videos on his account if you're interested in that. But yeah, as far as I remember, he said that he doesn't think it's doctored with.
Airplane would ever look like this in the sky. I've never seen a plane look like this, nor have...
Yeah, it's definitely not a plane, I agree.
This type of lights. There's no red or green separation between the wings. You should have red on this side and green should be here, but it's all just a shade of orange.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a real video, and that's all I can really say about it.
See, I just wanted to show you that at least it's been looked at, and it's apparently real. So that's very interesting to me. Also, I have not really found any contradictory. Sorry, English is my second language. Not any things that didn't add up necessarily with him. There's a lot of people criticizing him and trying to debunk him for sure, but also these accounts are also questionable themselves, to be honest. I looked at some of them, and it would make sense that if you are correct with some outrageous claim like this, with the Galactic Federation, all of that kind of stuff, that people will go after you hard, like they did in the past with all different kinds of prophets and scientists that are, breaking the paradigm, that come up with something completely new and outrageous. People are not going to like it and are going to try to put you down and debunk you. That just would make sense to me in this case. But let's go back to the homepage of Family of Teygeta and look at the different sections they have here. For example, they have messages. These messages, I think, come from telepathic contacts from Judith, and they also put them out here on the Family of Teygeta X account, and allegedly, supposedly, like I said, from different people like Neo, Laka, so family members of Judith and Michael, the higher spiritual family, that is. And these messages always come in a interesting font, or at least in an interestingly written way. I'm not sure why they did that. Everything is capitalized, every letter here, and everything, maybe to avoid spelling mistakes or grammar mistakes, to make it easier. I'm not sure. Maybe this is the way usually this supposed light language that the Pleiadians use is being spelled out. Could be, not sure. Maybe not. But these messages are very, very positive. I think 99% of the time, from what I've seen, just explaining different concepts of spirituality and the universe and the shift and alien species and all of that kind of stuff. So I've never really seen anything that would lead me to believe that they're trying to scam people or something like that. I mean, they do have a shop section up here where you can buy like soul origins. So basically you can ask Judith what your soul origin is. Basically if you're a Pleiadian or if you are some other life form or something like that, and they will tell you what you look like, how many kids you have, and what your home looks like in the higher realms and densities and stuff like that. Seems also very far out there. And also kind of similar from what I've read, the different soul origins, always just very very superficial descriptions of, like I said, description of what they look like, what their home looks like, and how many kids and stuff like that, and what pets they got, and things like that. And people have given them a hard time, obviously, for taking money for this, but it's also, I guess, if you have such a big following, a way to filter out people, because I guess there would just be too many of them coming. Otherwise, they have books and all that kind of different stuff, and they have merch. And yeah, I get why that is frowned upon in a way, but they are still humans, that they still need to make a living. And if they decided this is so important to them, getting this information out, playing devil's advocate here for our skeptics out there, if they have decided this is so important to them, that they want to full-time only do this kind of stuff, then it would make sense that you somehow need to earn a living, and you cannot just do it for free. I mean, you could, but then probably also wouldn't have as much time to put into this, with all the relatively high production value, I would say, with all the AI stuff that they put out. They have an AI podcast where it's text-to-speech, yes, but it's also improving. Again, I've been looking at their stuff for quite a while, so I know all this. I've never bought a soul origin or anything like that, even though I was tempted just to see if mine would be very similar to the others as well, and if it would follow like a certain kind of pattern, I guess. If it was AI created or anything like that, I have no idea if that is the case or not. I'm not an expert on that, and to find out if something is AI created or not, I'm also not an expert. I'm just a content creator, and to make up your own mind, basically. This is what I want to achieve with this video, that you get a chance to do that. Okay, we have here a section called features, where I guess the more interesting ones are being featured. Who are the BKI from BIW? Who are the Zuya? This is especially interesting. I think this is where the myth of the little leprechaun man and stuff like that comes from, because allegedly, supposedly, the wee folk are actually, well, extraterrestrials, or at least people or beings from another density, or maybe they even come from here. I haven't read through this, but I just saw this briefly, and I thought this is interesting, that this kind of corroborates the fairy tales around these beings, because according to the Family of Teygeta, they actually exist. And I think they even have elves in here and stuff like that, but also very different kinds of races that you've never really heard of before, seen. AI used to illustrate, obviously, not real pictures. Here, fairies and overview and stuff like that. So it's very woo and very far out there for some people. I've actually recently read a book about this being here, Ashtar. I think Ashtar was from Sirius Noplia. Noplia, I think, being a planet in the Sirius system, but I'm also not sure, and represents Syrians in the Galactic Federation. And well, in my book that I've read, it was, what was it? The book was called Nordics, but it was about all different kinds of things. And in that book, the leader, that he wasn't really described as anything. He was just this higher being called Ashtar. And he guided this human through a spiritual awakening process and took him to higher densities in his light body, on his astral projection, whatever you want to call it. And that was just very interesting to me, that the names are similar. But debunkers might say, well, they might have read all different kinds of things and just made up a LARP. Sure, that is a possibility. Not going to say it's not. But again, here's some very interesting stuff. As you can see, some people have been annoyed by supposed alleged racism, but because often Pleiadians are only presented as white-skinned, but maybe they are, And there's all different kinds of races, so as shown by Kabamur and Judith and the Family of Teygeta as well. Not only white people, but also with all different kinds of skin colors. So that argument falls flat, I think. And you can click on topics here and you get all different kinds of descriptions. They have talked about white hats versus black hats, so the good actors in government versus the bad actors in government. They've talked about human cloning, rapid human cloning. Basically, our politicians like Biden, for example, having all different kinds of clones and they're being deployed for different kinds of purposes, and that they're being controlled by the black hats, so by the evil guys and all this kind of stuff. And that's very hard to swallow as well, was for me too. Here is actually the section with rapid human cloning. If you click on it, they're going to explain this, and the origin of the technology as well, apparently from the Zeta Grays, as rumored that the government back then had a deal. The Eisenhower presidency or the Eisenhower government had a deal with the Zetas for technology, and in exchange I think they were allowed to abduct people without the government interfering or anything like that, or pursuing it. Then there's cloning facilities allegedly in Antarctica. There's also all different kinds of things in Antarctica, which we might get to later as well. Hillary Clinton might be cloned, allegedly, supposedly. And here's some, this is odd for sure, like a fused earlobe here, and then in another picture. It's not, I've seen many pictures like that, where sometimes he has this fused and sometimes not. Very odd. Sometimes people say, but it's actors in masks, but actually Family of Teygeta, what they say is there is no actors in masks, which I find doubtful, because probably some, but they say the majority is cloned puppets, basically. And Trump allegedly knows about all of this and tries to, he's one of the good guys, allegedly. I know this will also be a trigger point, but he has been in contact with Galactic Federation, allegedly, supposedly, and knows all there is to know about it, and is just waiting with disclosure until the shift happens, because also disclosure, apparently, according to the Family of Teygeta, will only happen after the shift, because humans just won't be ready before. Their consciousness will not be high enough to understand and to be at peace with that reality, with that truth, because the truth is also in some cases too terrible to be told with this cloning and all of that kind of stuff. Here you can also see a picture of this black eye, because sometimes clones allegedly, supposedly, are being updated through eyes or feet. That's why you sometimes see many of these high value politicians and royalty and stuff like that with these weird caskets, or not caskets, what's it called in English? I don't actually know. These weird shoes on, as if they've broken a foot or something like that. Or some people say it's to hide ankle monitors, but according to Family of Teygeta, that is because of the cloning. First cloned entertainer. This rabbit hole is very deep. Political clones. Here you can see Hillary Clinton's clone malfunctioning, allegedly. I've seen this before. She has some odd mannerisms sometimes, and this would be an explanation, I suppose. Or here, him being completely robotic, like he's turned off, basically. Bill Clinton, that is. Very, very interesting for sure. So I see how that could all be true, could all not be true. I just don't know, and I guess we won't know until this alleged shift. Another very interesting aspect of disclosure they're talking about is that back in the day we were created by all different kinds of races, I think, or some races like the Pleiadians. They've shared their DNA with us to create the humans as we know them today, but they also have been traitors in their midst, people that called, I think, Enki and Enlil. I think Enki was Syrian, but I'm not sure. And then there's like a reptilian one. And here, the Nepek, I think this is an image of the of one of the betrayers, basically, that have, made people think they're gods. And allegedly, supposedly, these are Satan and God from the Bible. And so what those people are really worshipping is Satan and not God. And only the followers of Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ was a Pleiadian, allegedly are following the true not God necessarily, but the truth in general. Oh yeah, I think his real name is Pitkozox, this guy here, the one that is also later known as Lucifer or Satan, but I don't really know about this 100%. Opisheklio is, I think, the Syrian one. Let's just read through the story real quick. Their story of life was perfection when Pitkozox ruled over them as a mentor and protector of sacred life. He was a member of the Galactic Federation, lived in harmony with all beings of Uranus for millions of years. He taught the Napak great technology which allowed travel to distant stars in magnificent crafts. As he traveled and explored many areas, he visited Sirius and met a beautiful female named Kitawe. They loved one another and gave birth to 2 sons. Ashtar became commander of the Galactic Federation, representing Sirius Noplia, and Opisheklia, who became dark and evil on his path and became the being known as Lucifer. He dwelt in Sirius Noplia B. The brothers and father understood their power, but Ashtar alone stood in light. As his father and brothers rose in darkness, they completely banished the idea of the Galactic Federation and rebelled in all communication. As the light forces assisted Earth in many ways, Pitkozox became the being known as Satan, as he traversed the Earth claiming to be God. The people of Earth fell and worshipped him as the light forces attempt to reason with those so direly confused. The ongoing travesty of the darkness of this once great lineage still brings destruction on planet Earth, with religions believing in blood sacrifice in the name of God. For those living on Uranus, the news of the ongoing saga of destruction has brought wounds of the heart, as they too long for galactic peace for all. So yeah, I am not 100% familiar with the story, like I said, but the beings we know as Lucifer, Satan, God, whatever, are extraterrestrials or beings from higher densities that became negative, evil, whatever you want to call it, and have tricked the people of Earth into creating religions about them, blood sacrifice, and all that kind of stuff. And most religions that exist today worship these, not just Christianity, but also, I would say, Judaism and I don't actually know which ones exactly, to be honest, but many of the blood sacrifice-based religions, for example, Christianity, worship these evil beings and don't know that they do this actually because they've been tricked, allegedly, supposedly. And only who believes in Jesus Christ, which is also called Elder Sananda, I think, or something like that, also a being from the higher realms, is following the truth and the goodness or something like that. But that's what they claim, at least. Very far out there, I know. Very hard for me to swallow as well, because we don't have any hard evidence, and allegedly we won't get it until after the shift. So that's very convenient as well. But yeah, if you click on the family, you're going to see a family tree, basically. Here, Aya, we were created in the 12th density in Elohim. We ventured out and found a place now called Teygeta in the 7th dimension. We can access all densities and dimensions, and we do travel to all. In 12, there's no language, only tones and colors and souls. We met others there. We chose family and went together. Not all were created in the 12. We were the first creation with the others there. Fae were there. Created without form and sacred energy in 12D, we remained there in timelessness. We grew and developed bodies and abilities. We knew one another. We felt love. We were love. We chose others to be with. We flew in bodies. We ventured out to a place called Teygeta by Earth. Earth labels everything. To us it was home. It was not that it was a lower place to be. It was a place to create what we wanted. Teygeta is the most protected origin in the Pleiades, where high-level galactic meetings take place. Visitors are welcome, but by invitation only. So is Teygeta Earth? Maybe I've confused that. I'm not sure. Maybe Teygeta is a place in a higher density that is all Earth. I'm not sure. Elder Ikai, or also called Shilaka Ikai Limish. This is the light language they speak of sometimes, I believe, or the names in light language. Aya, full name Makai Ala Likim, or Likim, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, or Laka, Neo, Kabamur, that's Michael, Akatu. The Pleiadian Collective, I'm not sure what this is actually, Friends of Earth, there are moments, these are the moments to thrive. Great awakening is before you, and all you perceive will change in the twinkling of an eye. We are with you. Yeah, they basically talk about the shift being similar to the biblical rapture, as it's been prophesied in the Bible, where in the twinkle of an eye, people are going to be taken to a higher density, and the people with negative spirits, negative density, negative vibrations or low vibrations are going to be left behind in the twinkle of an eye as well. And there's going to be mass confusion. There's going to be challenges for those left behind to raise their vibrations and to follow later to this 5D Earth, to this elevated Earth. And very interesting, but also, again, very far out there concept. Let's look at the frequently asked question. Who's Cap? Kabamur is Pleiadian from Teygeta, and Cap is a pseudonym for the human incarnation of the Pleiadian Kabamur. Cap experienced a major spiritual awakening in 2012 as his mom Judith began receiving amazing spiritual gifts, including visions and telepathic contact with the Pleiadian soul family. Cap and his mom share Pleiadian messages and disclosure to help prepare humanity for the coming shift and open contact with benevolent ETs. Cap will serve as an ambassador for the Pleiadian contact in Sheen being the new Earth, and the information being shared will be recorded for those who don't shift. That's interesting. That's new information for me, actually. Okay, so the information being shared will be recorded. So everything they're putting out now is later an explanation for people who are left behind, so they might understand and then follow us, I guess. I say us, as if I know and believe. Who is Judith? Judith is the human incarnation of the Pleiadian Aya, a telepathic source for the information found on this website. Aya and Kabamur incarnated together in this human lifetime as mother and son to help prepare others for the shift to Sheen and contact with Pleiadians. Where does this information come from? This information on the site is telepathically received by Pleiadian soul family, by Judith, and shared by Cap. Telepathy is not the same as channeling and doesn't involve entering meditative states or allowing anyone take over of the body. Judith experiences real-time communications with Pleiadians regardless of distance or location. That's why I explained what I explained earlier. When will full disclosure happen? According to them, disclosure is a personal process, and each person is capable of discovering as much truth as they can discern through their own level of awareness. Makes sense. Disclosure of UFOs, UAPs has begun on an official level, but we won't have full disclosure of our situation until our consciousness can perceive and understand it. That also makes sense to me. Full disclosure is, in its true meaning, can only happen after the shift to Sheen, fifth dimension, because the magnitude of the truths currently known to humanity are too much to process from a 3D perspective. We must first be free of fear and manipulation of dark forces. Expanded 5D consciousness will make everything possible. Who are the Pleiadians and how are they relevant to disclosure? Pleiadians are, simply put, the parents of humanity. They are not only responsible for human existence on Earth, but never left us and have been guiding us all along. A race of extraterrestrial beings called by many names in ancient texts, Elohim, angels, watchers, son of man. They are the first race in creation and the most powerful. Elohim describes beings who have descended from 12th dimension to lower dimensions, creating an identity through their own intention. Elohim include archangels, fairies, and other beings who all generally have the same basic body shape of a head, 2 arms, and 2 legs. Therefore, we are made in the image of God, as the scripture says, Elohim. Pleiadians are the true guardians of the planet, protecting Earth against the disasters we never hear about. They guide us throughout our lives without interfering in our free will. They incarnate as humans themselves, choosing to forget who they are and experience the same challenges that humans do. They are completely benevolent and loving. Their only goal is for humanity to reach its full potential. Interesting. Will there be a fake alien invasion or Project Bluebeam? Pleiadians are never going to allow any ET false flags. This is interesting. This would corroborate this being a truthful message, or this whole thing here. If something like that never happened, never a false flag attack or something like that, then, they would be Correct. Project Bluebeam is not a realistic scenario with Galactic Federation currently all over our planet. There's no logical conclusion to either a fake alien invasion or a fake alien attack. The extent of the Cabal's access to spacecraft or dark fleets has been exaggerated to conceal the presence of Pleiadians and Galactic Federation. Cabal here being the true rulers of Earth, the shadow government, whatever you want to call it. Why don't positive ETs intervene in our problems or reveal themselves publicly? This would not be in the best interest for anyone. Earth is a school for souls, not a prison. Beings across the galaxy volunteer to incarnate as human for the soul experience. Earth is the most challenging school because it's a place where darkness can pretend to be light. After thousands of years of struggling in this duality, humanity isn't meant to defeat darkness, but is sent out of it. Disclosure has been planned as a gradual process due to extreme conditioning from centuries of manipulation. Pleiadians support our advancement and awakening, but make great effort to avoid causing us unnecessary trauma and fear. Pleiadians have always maintained contact on an individual basis. The rate at which we experience UFO disclosure directly correlates to the rate of the expansion of our collective consciousness. Craft sightings will increase as we approach the shift. How do ETs connect to religion? God is the source of all creation and all beings within it. Not a player in the game or a character in the story, but the game and story itself. Individualized gods are extraterrestrials. Humans have been tricked about the distinction of God and gods by the elites who worship gods. Extraterrestrials are both the angels and fallen angels in Abrahamic religion. The Watchers, Elohim, Son of Man, Lords, and sometimes called God. Pleiadians are aligned with the teachings of masters, such as Jesus and Buddha, because these Pleiadian Elohim incarnated to teach humanity about their connection with the true God that lives within all of us. The truth has always been twisted by those who rule over us to control us. Jesus spent his life teaching people that we're all children of God who will do even greater miracles than he will. He prophesied to the coming of the Son of Man, Pleiadians, in the last days. It's important to understand that he was teaching in a time when extraterrestrial gods were worshipped with blood. His true name, Yeshua, was changed to Jesus to honor the elite's god, Zeus. Jesus never claimed to be the only God and never taught people to worship him. He taught God is found within us. His God was a loving, compassionate, and forgiving God, not an angry God of violence, blood sacrifice, and eternal punishment. Jesus never used the word Father, Abba, in his native Aramaic, but referred to God as Birther, Abun. Concepts like sin, hell, and repentance were not beliefs held by Jesus, but by pagan elites who used religion to control the masses. Who are the White Hats? White Hats have access to the highest level of security clearance, who work within compartmentalized groups inside military intelligence, have ongoing contact with Pleiadians and Galactic Federation. Pleiadians make contact with individuals based on their soul plans and never make deals with Black Hat Cabal. White Hats carry out missions which are never known to the public. They make arrests of high-level Cabal, which are then covered up through the use of clones and other deceptions. Pleiadians say the one in control is the White Hat and have specifically called Donald Trump the White Hat. This will also trigger a lot of people, I'm sure. Will there be mass arrests? White Hats have been involved in arrests of high-level Cabal for several years, but this won't be publicly disclosed by the MSM. Arrests are concealed using rapid human cloning and to replace many who are arrested. White Hats won't disclose arrests or cloning because it would never be accepted, and Black Hats would use the public reaction to incite civil war. Are ET abductions real? Some ETs, like the Zetas, have abducted humans for the purpose of study and experimentation. This has never been done without being part of the individual's soul plan, which would also serve the greater good in some way. Abductions like this don't happen anymore. Benevolent groups never take anyone against their will. Starseeds may experience other locations in consciousness without physically traveling there. It was possible for Pleiadians and others of similar abilities to remove an individual from their linear timeline, travel elsewhere for a duration, and be returned to the exact moment they left, without any memory of what happened. This isn't common, but it's possible. That's actually what happened to this American being described in this book, Nordics, that I've been reading. Like I said, he's been taken by Ashtar while his body remained in the third dimension. And he was also able then to manifest a physical body in these higher realms, and he basically lived like we do now for the period of time where he was taken to these realms. Very interesting that this says the same thing. Is time travel real? Our Elohim friends can move freely in Earth's timelines. Humans time travel in consciousness, not body. The future can be seen, but variables change the further away it is. Project Looking Glass was gifted to human whiteheads by Pleiadians as a way to see the near future. Yeah, I heard about that. It's technology where you can, I think, look at different periods of time. Here it says the future, near future. I thought maybe the past as well, but maybe I'm wrong. This is interesting. Why doesn't the family of Teygeta provide photos of themselves? Our family are directly involved in matters relating to the shift and do meet with military whiteheads. Putting photos of Ikai, Neo, Akatu, or Laka would increase danger for Judith. We are protected to an extent, but there are always variables and free will. There's also the matter of people not being overwhelmed with direct evidence that they might reject if they're not ready. There is a plan to reveal things in stages leading to the shift. A drip system, you could say. But yeah. What is God? Pleiadians define God as Jesus did, the source, Abun in Aramaic, that lives within us. We are all divine manifestations of God experiencing God itself, or God's self. Pleiadians say that the true nature of Prime Creator is unknowable to all beings, including Elohim, but is understood as the oneness that exists within all things. The gods of mythology and the local gods of Abrahamic religions who interacted with humans were extraterrestrials playing God. What is the Holy Spirit? This is the essence of God in all living things, which was made into a third being by church doctrine. Okay, how do I pray? Prayer can be like meditation, or it can be more. The best way to connect with our higher self, your guides, or God is through heart-centered prayer. Find a loving feeling deep within, a feeling of love and gratitude, and let this feeling overtake you. From this space, you can receive and perceive on a higher level. Asking God for things is less effective than meditating with gratitude that it has already happened. This is what I heard as well. This is what I'm doing in my meditation as well, by the way, to manifest potentially, because even if it's not true, what if it's true? Why not try? This process more easily manifests your thoughts into reality. How do I raise my vibration? Make positive choices, be kind to yourself and others, forgive yourself and others, be honest to yourself and others, be light. This is what I mean by they put out a lot of positivity and not really negativity at all. And again, yes, they have options to support them financially, I think with tips or with the soul readings and stuff like that. But that doesn't mean they're lying necessarily. That's not an argument for me against it potentially being true. What is Elohim? Elohim refers to the first beings in creation who descended directly from 12D source and include the most powerful star races like Pleiadians, Arcturians, Sirians, and the angelic groups like archangels, angels, nature spirits, and fae. Beings who aren't of Elohim have ascended from lower dimensions upwards. This includes most life in the universe. There aren't old souls or new souls, only different paths the souls can take. Okay, I didn't know that actually, because I always thought there is such a thing as new and older souls. If you believe in that, who are the 144,000? 144,000 are souls that were chosen while still in the higher realms. Archangels and ascended masters chose these souls for the purpose of gathering souls as Earth shifts in density. They will emit a high frequency of light that is part of the shift itself. This light frequency creates a gathering of souls, and all feel only love and peace. This is confusing. This didn't explain to me very well what this here is. Is Ascension or the shift the same thing as the biblical rapture? Yes. When will the shift happen? No one knows the exact moment, but Pleiadians say that it will happen during the lifetime of the generations currently present. We have presented additional information that suggests we are in a period of prophesied as the Great Tribulation, which would resolve with the shift. And Cap has recently actually stated on his X account that we are, in his opinion, very close to the shift. And some talk about 2026 or 2027 or the latest 2030, but definitely within our lifetime. I guess that's relative because some people are still dying every day, so not in their lifetime apparently, but yeah, that's what's being said, at least very soon. What is Sheen? Sheen is what Pleiadians call 5D Earth, the parallel dimension Jesus was referring to when he spoke of preparing many mansions. It's a version of Earth free of dark forces where humans will have a Star Trek future as a galactic civilization. That would be my dream, actually. I would sign up for one of these exploration ships right away. Or probably. I don't know how scary it would be. But yeah, interesting for sure. What will happen to those who shift and those who don't? In the blink of an eye, millions of souls will ascend to a higher timeline, to a new heaven. This is not a physical death. People will vanish from 3D reality and find themselves on a perfect replica of this earth, but free of evil. Humans will have finally full disclosure and take the next step of becoming a galactic civilization and meeting many benevolent ET races. Those who don't immediately shift will always have the opportunity if they can understand what's happened and make the choice. Most of the other souls will ascend soon after the first group. The dark forces will be the last to be removed from this earth before it is recreated as a new earth. Those souls who chose darkness in many lifetimes may choose to begin as humans again, with less technology and no dark forces manipulating them. Not me. If this is true, I'm gonna be up on that ship to 5D. You can trust me. I had enough of this earth. Will I see my deceased friends and family? The deceased won't come back to life as the same humans, but there will be a reunion for all souls who will remember all their past lives and relationships. Pleiadians, Arcturians, and others will arrive who lived as our human families in many lifetimes. There will be a perfect understanding of all these connections when the time comes. That's also very hopeful for many people, obviously, that loved ones will be back, even if they will look different, I guess, but you will recognize them. How do I know if I'll ascend? Do your best and you'll be fine. Only very low vibration, evil people will not make the first wave, but even they will have the opportunity. Will my pets ascend? Yes, animals and pets ascend too. Nothing will be lost, everything will be gained. No one should worry about losing a connection to anyone they love. Will I live in the same house with the same people? Everything will be changed and there are no guarantees for what each person will experience. Nothing will be lost, but circumstances may be rearranged. Will there be a solar flash? The shift is described as a solar flash, but the Pleiadians explain this isn't solar activity, but a flash of consciousness. There won't be any 3D devastation because of the sun at the time of the shift. What is the ringing sound in my ears? Actually, this is not funny because ever since I've been woken up to the reality of UAP and stuff like that and spirituality and me meditating for over a year now every day for at least 30 minutes. Ever since I got into numerology and learned that there is an actual science from ages ago, thousands of years old. Ever since I learned all that, I've started hearing a high-pitched frequency in my left ear or something like that. And it's not tinnitus. I had that in the past. This is not it. This is like weird that they're talking about this now. It's not from a physical medical condition. This can accompany with a change in frequency within your energy field. That would make sense because I raised my frequency by being into all this kind of stuff, I guess, and by meditating. It can be from a download or from the presence of a higher being or guide nearby. Also interesting. As you can see, I am very hopeful that this is true information because it's all positive and very interesting. And much of what mainstream disclosure is putting out always sounds very negative, or at least potentially negative. So this is my hope that this version of events is true. we'll see, I guess. What is the difference between starseeds and lightworkers? All souls are old souls. There are souls which are Earth native and have only evolved on Earth, and there are souls called starseeds who originate in other star systems and have come to Earth for the experience of incarnating as human. Lightworkers are 144,000 activated starseeds, who will help awaken others in the last days before Earth's ascension, the shift to Sheen. Is Earth a prison? No. Earth is a school where souls experience duality in order to grow and ascend. Millions of souls far away from faraway worlds volunteer to come to Earth and live a normal human life full of both joy and pain. Are there old souls and new souls? All souls are old, and there aren't new souls being created. Interesting, there aren't new souls being created. There are only different paths our souls take. Wait, if there's no new souls being created, how do you reproduce in higher dimensions? Because I heard there is still reproduction. So is there a limited amount of souls, but I guess it's still like trillions or something like that in the whole universe. So it won't really matter. This is interesting. Elohim being advanced, descending directly from 12D source, while others begin in lower dimensions and work their way up. All souls are from God. All souls are God experiencing creation by experiencing it in as many ways as possible. So basically, source splitting itself into different souls. I talked about this in a recent video. And learning that way by sending out drones, basically, of itself, having them experience all different kinds of things. And making them forget where they come from, so they experience these things as authentically as possible, I would say. How many starseeds are incarnated on Earth? From 2018, 200 million total number of starseeds currently incarnated on Earth, 75 million total Pleiadians incarnated, 50 million total Arcturians incarnated. These are the two main groups. The rest of the starseed population are a mix of many other races. 6 million Pleiadians serving in Galactic Federation. Not all here are members of Galactic Federation or Galactic Federation of Light. Interesting. First time they're calling it this. 30 million total number of Galactic Federation of Light members present, including many races. 802,058 archangels are here assisting in non-physical. 3,850 archangels in human bodies. Okay. I wonder who those might be. If a soul is of the light, can they become an evil person? God grants us free will. Starseeds incarnate into duality to forget and in order to awaken through the experience of struggle in duality. A person is only as good as their day-to-day thoughts and actions. Every choice moves us upwards or downwards in frequency. This is interesting just because it reminds me of my own process. I had to go through a lot of dark times before I found NHI, UAP disclosure and spirituality, especially. Before I tried to be present in the moment and all these kind of practices. Before that, I was just living like a robot, always trying to get more about, what is best for myself and all of that kind of stuff, and not really thinking about much else. So, yeah, this definitely changed me, and interesting that they are talking about waking up here as well. Do we have free will, or is everything predetermined by God? Our human lives are a combination of free will and planned events. There are certain people in your path as part of a plan, or things that will happen to you, but you always have the freedom to take your life in any direction you want. There are always changing variables which affect outcomes. When we say God's plan, we actually mean our souls and guides who are deciding what kind of soul experience is most beneficial and giving us what we need to experience that. Whether we do or not is up to us in the human incarnation. Okay. Where do people go when they die? When people pass from 3D, they move into non-physical, where they can return to their planet of origin or remain in non-physical to join ascended souls at the shift. Interesting. What does return to source mean? For non-native Earth souls, starseeds, this means returning to home on a craft. For Earth native souls, this means returning to source consciousness and planning new incarnations on Earth and other locations after Ascension. How does the process of soul incarnation work? Who chooses your lifetimes? The soul chooses the incarnation, and the Elohim light forces manage the process for the advancement of the incarnated souls. Family, friends, and guides help souls choose incarnations between lives. Archons do not run a reincarnation loop. Earth native souls are here by choice and will ascend out of duality soon. Earth is the school, not a prison. The opposite basically of what David Icke is saying. Starseeds are here by choice and leave between lifetimes. There are dark forces manipulating Earth from non-physical and also incarnating into physical bodies, and this is partially allowed for the purpose of preparation. Pleiadians and their allies do not plan darkness. They are always helping us and often preventing dark plans from happening. They love us eternally and are making sure humanity ascends to a galactic civilization. Do souls incarnate as animals? All souls have only reincarnated as humans. Thousands of years ago, some starseeds had experiences on Earth as dolphins and otters. Why otters? That's interesting. Why would they choose otters and dolphins? And I also heard animals have not complete souls yet, but early stage souls or something like that, but I'm not sure if they said this or I read it somewhere else. Are Earth native souls inherently less spiritual than starseeds? Earth native souls who have only had human lifetimes on Earth have the same soul connection to God source as any other, but don't have the higher dimensional etheric DNA which allows uploads and downloads with our star family. Interesting. All humans have the same ability to be spiritual, but many starseeds specifically come to raise spiritual awareness, which can be triggered through DNA downloads. How do you recognize a download? I often wondered, because I don't think I ever had one consciously. That information was dumped into my consciousness, basically. That I had knowledge suddenly of a topic I've never heard about, or is it more like a subconscious nudge, like you are just interested in something all of a sudden and you don't even know why? How many extraterrestrial groups have incarnated on Earth in total? 180. Interesting, that's a lot. What are dreams? Neo said, why do we dream? Why were we created with a consciousness that sleeps and goes to an aspect to dream? The consciousness as true self is always awake. We experience levels of sleep and levels of being awake in the physical realm, never ending while in form. The reason for sleep, of course, is to replenish the body-mind, to rest and prepare for more of life. The only reason we dream while in sleep is to assist us in awakening to our true self. Nothing is random, all is connected. My dreams truly seem random sometimes. It was planned to show you that the dream is not real. You're having an experience, a story. When the body-mind awakens, you realize it was a dream. An aspect of reality in consciousness that you have either created or a place you are remembering. Even if this happened when you awaken, it is no longer there for you. As we live, we dream over and over, and we see this is not real for us as we go on with our day. The purpose of the many dreams is to remind us that the waking life is also a dream, to teach us what a dream really is. We are living a waking dream. While dreaming in the physical body, this is also real for us while we are there. It is only as aspect of consciousness. You are living as aspect of consciousness when you wake up and get up. Your pure awareness is your true self. This is the place you remember who you are and you can get in touch with your purpose. Very complicated to read for some reason. Maybe it's because I've read so much already. It's just one mesh now. What is a déjà vu? Akatu, many of you have had the experience of what is known to you as déjà vu. This, we explain to you, is the experience of a parallel life, lived simultaneously with the one experiencing. As taught before, when the completion of a parallel life has occurred. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. This aspect of the whole soul will integrate into the next of closest vibrational frequency. This waking dream that you share is your highest state of vibration. All will completely integrate into this life before the shift. Oh, interesting. So Fascinating. So deja vu is whenever we complete a lifetime in another reality, simultaneously lived with this one. Crazy. Judith. Deja vu is common with many. For others, it will happen more in childhood, and then it tapers off in awareness. All lives you have lived are present in your consciousness and are accessed and carried in the heart chakra as the Akashic records. When you have the feeling and knowing you have experienced this moment before, you absolutely have. This will be the next closest parallel life that you had, which matched this one closely in vibrational frequency. When each lifetime ends and you decide to incarnate again, the soul aspect provided the false identity will integrate back into the whole soul. There are moments when the memory of energy of that lifetime will enter your awareness briefly, then it is gone. It is present in expanded consciousness, just as your origin and all other lives. This is the reason that many can remember their origin or even dream of another lifetime. It can seem very real because it did happen. So dreams can also be that, a memory. Well, he said that before. What is the Mandela effect? Pleiadian Collective said, for those that recall the Mandela effect, this was felt by many and noted as changes slightly in many names, known facts and memories. You will also notice there was a completion and slowly the excitement seemed to vanish. Few talk about this now. What occurred was a mass integration of aspects of souls. This is the final dream, and the vibrational frequency was felt by many. This serves you in understanding integration as well as fully observing that the story you believe is real. That is an illusion. Okay. Some of you absolutely remember celebrity deaths, candy names, and exact details of events. Now you understand consciousness and that you are experiencing shifts and awakening to the awareness that you are everything. Welcome to the Earth School. Interesting. That would explain why some people remember a movie that isn't real or any other example. What is near-death experience? Judith said, these are simple experiences of expanded consciousness. The soul that remains in the physical aspect as long as the body is kept alive will allow the experience to be that of the identity. Those who are heavy into religious doctrine might have a religious experience, while another might experience paradise. Even without an NDE, the soul has complete expanded consciousness, and the identity only perceives a small amount. Many NDEs can give a person a new love of life. But yeah, lots of information, and lots of it makes sense. This is the interesting thing here, to me at least. So yeah, that was my deep dive. It could have been deeper, but also there's a lot of information out there. And if you want me to go through more of Galactic Federation Disclosure or Family of Teygeta, let me know. I will make a part 2 then. If this resonates with you, also let me know. Or if you think this is complete and utter LARP, so live act roleplay, this is made up, also let me know. For some reason, like I said, I can't really explain, this is a very attractive theory, maybe because it's so positive. Maybe that if it is disinformation, maybe that's the trick. Or maybe it is real. And that would be my preferred option here for sure. Discernment for me personally isn't enough to say this is 100% real or not, because I just don't have enough information. And I haven't had any personal experience. And there's many contradicting theories out there as well, which, like Cap said, are often fear-based. And to be honest, I am not attracted to the fear-based ones as much, so or at all, for that matter. So it would make sense that this is the real one. But others say this is just the perfect way to subdue and make people be lethargic about NHI and disclosure and stuff like that. This would be like preparation for an invasion or something like that, or part of it. Because if people think all we have to do is focus on ourselves and just be peaceful and friendly and all of this kind of stuff, just raise our vibrations, that's all you have to do, then I guess you would become docile and maybe wouldn't do anything about the world being taken over by the cabal or dark forces or whatever. That's what some believe, at least. It's not necessarily what I believe. I think that's also an option, sure, but I would prefer this to be true, definitely. Let me know what you think, and we'll see if I make a part 2 or not in the future. Until then, bye-bye.